welcome to Layback with Betfair. Joined by the A-team, we're back.
Hello and welcome to another big edition of A Layback with Betfair. It's a huge Group 1 weekend in Adelaide this week, headlined of course by the Goodwood. My name's Nick Foote, I'm your host, and the two men that are here to join, the band is back together. Tom Haylock, Reece Goodwin are in the studio. Tommy, good morning to you.
Great to be here. Yeah, we've done a couple online. We've come back from Warrnambool. It was a big carnival up there, and the event on Tuesday night was fantastic. You got to get down there, mate. So it's good to be back in the studio with you two.
Yeah, it certainly is. Reece, What have you been up to the last few weeks? We know you're not a big tech guy, so the Zooms have been hard for you to come by, but you're more an in-studio operator.
100%, yeah. You've got to have me in here to get me, basically. Otherwise, don't bother. But, being pretty flat out with the horses, to be fair, and generally most of the time I can't be honest because I've got races or something like that. But couldn't get down to Warrnambool this year. No, I do know the event goes pretty big and hard. I think I'm still recovering from last year, to be fair. So let's pencil in next year. But yeah, sounds like it went good down there. It was obviously a good 3 days of racing. Let's crack into a big weekend.
Bit of Shooter McGavin about that. I was too busy winning.
Yeah.
Well,
it's true.
You said it, not me.
The trajectory of the Goodwin stable is just slowly climbing.
Ever since Layback started.
You want to buy shares now.
Won't be long till he's done with us, Tommy. But we'll. So he did walk into the studio though today, Reece Goodwin, and said, "I am ultra prepared for this weekend, and I've got winners in 3 states. So can't wait to get stuck into those." But before we do any of that, we've got to get into the Laybin. It is the award-winning segment here on Layback with Betfair, and Tommy usually comes pretty prepared in this segment, gets a few things off his chest. I think this is therapy for you, isn't it? Yes. There's no need for the psychologists or anything. It's just Laybins for Tom Haylock.
Correct. This is Sunday morning, gets me through the week. This constant chasing to want to be like American sports in Australia. They're talking about premiership rings now for AFL premiership winners, red cards. Just leave the game alone. The AFL game is great. We don't need premiership rings. Stop trying to be like the States. States aren't all the be-all and end-all in sport. Do you like it? I don't even like American sports.
Does the ring change the game, does it, Tom?
It changes the... No, it doesn't.
Good one.
No, but it's just a gimmick. It doesn't need to happen.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I think it's to reward everyone in the squad, Tom, the people that don't play on the final day.
No, who cares?
Do they not feel involved, those people? Yeah. Or is it just to the outside world's perception that they need to be looked after? Because surely they would understand that they're a part of the team. I don't think they need a trophy to
I'm just playing devil's advocate. Yeah, I don't even care.
Shut up, mate.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't really care. I just think we constantly chase American sports, and American sports aren't that great.
I'm actually somewhat agreeing with you. I'm not a big American sport guy, so I am sort of agreeing with you there, Tommy. But all right, straight off the top, right?
Versus fridge.
Yeah, shelf versus fridge. This has been a bit of a bugbear of mine.
I'm glad I didn't see that in the run sheet.
Yeah, that would suggest that you've looked at the run sheet. This has been a little bit of a bugbear of mine for some time now, and you'll see this at smaller supermarkets, things like, your IGAs and your Foodworks, where you'll go in and an item that is refrigerated is more expensive than the exact same item that is on the shelf.
Oh, 100%.
So if you're going to buy a 1.25 litre sparkling water and you want to get it out of the fridge, it's $4. But if you want to get it off the shelf, it's $1.70.
Yep.
That fridge costs money to run.
Not the differential there. If you've got the same barcode, you're the same price, mate. If you're getting scanned on your barcode, you are the same price regardless of refrigeration or not. If you're that desperate to charge for your electricity around refrigeration, you got to work into the shelf price.
So they don't have self-checkouts, those smaller stores, do they? That's where
Tom can't scan his $30 item as one avocado, unfortunately. So in those ones, but
not avocado, it's too expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
They were more. They were in a Laybin, weren't they? One stage.
Yeah, they've been on the radar, no doubt about that.
The Haas,
Haas versus Shepherds. We won't go back over there because I'm in a good mood today and I want to continue on. Reece, you got anything for us?
It's funny, something just quickly that you bring up about the American sports. Something that I just can't cop at all is ice hockey, and when they throw the gloves off and start fist fighting in the middle of a game.
That's on the backboard.
And then you see the umpires circle around, and when do they make the decision that they've got to intervene?
No, so they don't until one person falls over. It is.
So there is a rule on that until they can
someone loses
intervene.
their footing, but they don't get penalised. It's the third person in. So they let two people fight, but if you're the third person in, you get...
With everything
They
that's
get the
going on in
singing.
the world with concussions and everything like that, and two people can just throw down the middle of an ice arena
Need more of it.
until one of them falls over and then someone intervenes.
Need
That can
more
get the
of
Laybin for me.
I'm just glad you bought something.
That's true, yeah.
Hey, let's crack in to our tipping segment because we've got some really good racing, particularly in South Australia. The rejuvenation of this South Australian carnival has been fantastic. It's another cracking edition of the Group 1, which we'll get to a little bit later. But before we do, Tommy, let's talk about the track conditions in Adelaide, what we expect at Morphettville. The track is obviously getting a touch tired.
Yeah, probably right. We haven't had, in the past, we've had this mixed inside track at Morphettville Parks and outside, but they haven't done that. So we've got 3 weeks in a row now on Morphettville, rail out 4, perfect weather as you'd expect from Adelaide, mate. They've been getting wide, so just watch that. I think inside barriers potentially might be a negative, but even when they get wide, inside barriers peel wide anyway, so it's just wide in the straight. So
I love this about the Morphettville track in particular, and there's been discussion at nauseum about the track bias at Warrnambool last week and being on pace. If the fence is off and they're fanning, at least you're getting your chance as punters. So you'd much prefer to see a tired track and horses fanning and getting a run than the other.
And there's some awful tracks at the moment. I don't know how you are finding them as a trainer.
I'd certainly agree.
Just bias, and like around the country, we've had even like a lot of rain around and a lot of provincial meetings abandoned that aren't handling the wet, and just the biases and everything. It's just, they need some work to be done.
As if it's not hard enough to find a winner.
Correct, exactly right. And the worst thing is, if they're consistently biased, it's fine. And I defend Warrnambool a little bit. When it's not a heavy track, first few flat races on the Tuesday are generally on speed. That's the way it plays. Yep. So I can defend that a little bit. But when they water the inside or don't water the inside and try and change it and make it more fair, it screws everything up.
Yep.
Hey, let's kick into race number 3, which is the David Coles AM 2-year-old stakes here. Set weights 1,200 metres. Key scratching here. Stanley Express for Clinton McDonald is opting to go to Caulfield race 1 on Saturday, so it throws a little bit of a cat amongst the pigeons. How are you assessing the race, Tommy? Something you want to bet into?
No, I'm not. I haven't actually done enough trial work between the 5 debutants, so I will focus on that. I've had plenty of other races to touch on, and I'll leave this one to last. And if I find anything, I'll add it to my Betfair watch list, mate.
Yeah, I like it. I'm much the same. I want to dissect this a little bit more. I was keen to follow Stanley Express wherever he went. Caravas is the interesting runner here. I know Mitchy Lewis on layback 2 weeks ago was really keen on Caravas. His host bumped into a pretty smart one.
It was the win by Growing Empire.
Yeah, it was a really good win. So the blinkers go on for the first time. Watch the watch lists if we.
She was well beaten. She might have had enough now. Blinkers on 2-year-old filly, deeper in the campaign, off a bit of a flop according to the market. Got beaten 6.5. So
she was second up, and she was second up, and she did rate down a touch. But perhaps you can be forgiving of that. Just price is king, I guess, in this scenario. So we'll see how it unfolds.
Do you see many 2-year-olds with blinkers going on first time?
Look, it's probably not super common. It's not super common, but I think blinkers on generally means business, as in this.
Yeah, but I think with a 2-year-old, they've meant business throughout, so I almost think it's a stumps.
This is the toughest part with being a form analyst with blinkers first time, is identifying whether it's a throw at the stumps or whether we've been saving this up and it's a set play.
On the program.
I think it comes down to doing your jump outs and trials, because I can guarantee all of the ones that have got them on race day first start, they haven't had them on in every single jump out. So you probably want to gauge the difference in that too. I mean, I've had a 2-year-old trial this time round that I've put the blinkers on, and the problem is he's that fast out of the machines, he finds himself in front and then doesn't know what to do.
Well,
so
that's the problem with
the blinkers have gone on for that. Not to get the ability out of him. It's actually to switch him on and keep him on the job, because as soon as he finds the top, he's just looking around stargazing. So there's various reasons why the blinkers can be on. But yeah, if you go through and have a close look, you'll be able to see probably when they trialled with him and when they didn't, and you want to gauge the difference there.
Let's head to race 4 now, guys. It's the Group 3 SA Fillies Classic, 2,500 metres here. 2023's edition was won by Let's Be Frank Baby from Moya Lass and Wakamama. Speed here, Tommy, Quadratic, Everlasting Kiss, Zambezi Khan. They look the key speed influences, and the favourite Positivity will likely find the leaders back and in the box seat.
Yeah, you're right about Positivity. It has to be more forward than last start. Damien Lane on board as well. Just gets them more forward and can jump away better. I don't think a South Australian trained horse has won this since 2015 or 9 or 10 years. I think it's one out of the last 15 or something. So it's been dominated by the Victorians, but I've got Positivity on top. Just brings the best form lines, best proven form, best stayer, draws perfectly. Hard to not be with Positivity. I want to see if Fiano now gets a run here, or gets a run. It's got a run, but one on Wednesday, backing up. Not actually the worst thing. It'll be 500s.
It's 250 to 1.
Worse $500 shots than Fiano now off a quick backup over 2,500 metres for fillies. There's plenty worse $500 shots.
Bit of bull carnival about that.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Do we see enough of that, Reece? From a training perspective, what is actually...
What's legal?
It's all legal. As long as the horse fits fine.
What's the deterrent for you in backing up horses?
It's something, funnily enough, I was thinking about this morning. Sometimes it takes a carnival for people to do it. Warrnambool Carnival, someone will back them up, 24 hours, 48 hours. Swan Hill Carnival, there's...
The steeple winner back up 2 days later.
Ran terrific. There's the Swan Hill Carnival, there's a 2,400 metre race on the Friday, and then I think Big Classic, which is a higher grade 2,400. And each year there is one or two that always backs up. But it seems to be it takes a carnival for someone to do it more regularly. But, I mean, I put my hand up. I did it with a horse, Mac Beale. He ran on a Saturday and he ran terrible. And I thought he'd come home and just done too well and didn't put in. So he ran 48 hours later and dead set got beat a Pimple on the Pakenham Synthetic. So you just got to, make sure you're doing the right thing, of course. But they undergo a vet when they get to track.
Certificate. You can't do it within a day, can you?
Yep.
You just need a vet certificate, though.
No, you don't need it. When you arrive on course, the horse will be vetted. You don't have to get it vetted before you.
I thought you needed permission or something, but you
no. So that horse that ran in the Grand Annual, it would have just turned up the next day, and they would have vetted it and checked it then to make sure it was all to go. So you just got to do your normal things and make sure the horse is right. And to be fair, it doesn't look good if it happens all the time, but it probably doesn't get done enough, to be fair. You see quite often in the market, the horses are quite heavily supported when they're on a quick backup.
They're probably positive ROI compared to...
Even within the week, 7 days, I'm not sure it happens enough. Like we see the likes of, I thought Coco Sun winning the Group 1 last week had an enormous advantage because she was able to run in the Oaks the week prior, which was only available for the fillies, and I thought that gave her an enormous advantage over some of the Colts and Geldings that we're heading into the Derby. So these lead-up races are key in terms of where you want to get to on the quick backup. I'm with you, Tommy. I'm with Positivity as well in race 4. I think she rates clear of these off her run in the Australasian Oaks. Prior to that, Group 3 winner and Group 1 runner-up in New Zealand. So reads pretty well for this Fillies Classic here. Let's head to race 5.
Don't worry about my tip. That's all right, Nick.
Do you have something?
I do. You didn't even ask me.
Well,
so how do you ask me after you go to the next race?
Well, I didn't think
you knew we were a premier in this race 10 minutes ago.
Well, I don't have an opinion in any if you go off the run sheet.
That's what I was going for. I was just following the run sheet.
Sorry.
You're just here for your
What do you like here?
No,
you're here for your good looks according to the run sheet.
There's a filly here that I think will measure up. Absolutely. She comes out of a maiden at Seymour. It's Kohai, number 8. B Shin goes on board for Mike Maroney. She absolutely will run this trip. She's by Sacred Falls out of a New Zealand bred mare. She's sort of 34 to 1, 30 to 1. Her win at Seymour was tenacious. The horse of OTI's loomed up to her at the 200 and she had to pin the ears back, and that she did. They put a gap on the third horse. Her run prior was her only other run at 2000 where she was in an impossible position on the Pakenham track, and she motored on in some really good sectionals. This filly, she's dead set going to be my best each way of the weekend. She will. I think she can really run a hole. I no doubt Positivity has the best ratings and is the best filly, but outside of that, I think it's a pretty long tail to this race. And Bishin going on from a good draw, he'll have her in the right spot, and I think she can run really, really well at a nice price. Anyway, Nick, on to the next race.
Well, if you're that keen on one, pop it in the run sheet for Christ's sake, race.
Have you got a link to the run sheet?
Capital. I think so.
Let's go to race 5, the listed Centaurea Stakes for the fillies and mares over 2,019 metres. And we were just chatting, Reece and I, before the show, how many times have you been done in the last 19 metres in a race? So this matters. The 2019. So I'm not gonna introduce it as a 2,000 metre race. The past 3 winners of this particular race have been won by Thought Provoking, Foxy Frida, and In Good Health. And See What I See looks a really progressive mare for Danny O'Brien. He's working her through the grades and being really conservative with the approach to her. How are you assessing the race? Is it as simple as, is it a straight bat for you here with the mare coming over from Victoria, or are you looking for some value, Tommy?
I'm pretty keen on the race. It's a great race for a Fillies and Mares 2,000 metre listed race. This is a fantastic, really interesting clash. Obviously, See What I See, looking to make it 6 in a row. Got her on top, but I don't want to be with her at the price. 5 of these come through that Queen of the South, won by Sione. Sione up to 2,000's got to be a question mark. She meets them all worst of the weights, and I like the profile of Silent Sorrente here. Drawn wide, which I don't mind, just needs to get in, but we'll find the right part in the straight. This horse flies 2 from 3 at the track and distance, so she flies at 2,000 metres Morphettville. Plenty to like about the way she finished off. Her last 50 metres, I thought she really found again. Up to 2,000 metres, as I mentioned, suits perfectly. She meets the winner there, Sione, 3 kilos better. So I want to have something small to win. I've got See What I See marked favourite around that $2 mark, but I do have Silent Sorrente clearly second favourite, and the $2.10 at the moment to place is a lovely price. So something small to win, triple the place or 4 times the place at that 2.10. Silent Sorrente number 5.
Reece, do you have an opinion on the race?
Well, you're going to be shitty at me now because no, I don't.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure
Yep.
The show will flow if we just fill the run sheet out, guys. I'm really keen to See What I See. She's super progressive. I love how the O'Brien team are just stepping her through really conservatively. They could have popped her away and perhaps looked for one of the big spring ones, but I've spoken to Danny on RSN a couple of weeks ago, and he was just like really adamant that he wants to be conservative. And this is just a great listed kickoff point for a mare like this. This is the perfect race for her. 3rd time at 2,000, and she's been winning well. So.
Have you spoken to Danny, you said? Have they always had an opinion of her? Because it's amazing this horse went around $10 in her first 2 starts. She got beaten 5.2 lengths or close to 6 lengths on debut of 1,400 metres. It's not as if she stepped out over 1,100. And then she went to Sandown at start 2 and got beaten 3 lengths, and since then's come out and won 5 on end. It's amazing off the first 2 campaigns what she's been able to do in her 3rd prep. Has he always had an opinion of her? Did you?
Yeah, I won't quote him or anything in that respect, but I think he's just in line with what the data's showing as well, and that's that she's continued to improve at each start.
She must have.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I think that's a byproduct of how their team has approached her preparation in terms of stepping her through, not straight. She's just been beating up in benchmark level. I think she dropped back from 80 to 78 level or something.
Yeah, and drops 4.5 off that here.
And it's probably just a typical breed. She's a See the Stars. She's probably behind. She's probably 6 months behind the rest of her age group.
This is why you're on the show, mate.
And she's caught up, in the last 6 months, hasn't she? Basically. Yep. So well done by the team. Perfectly placed.
That's a really good point. And the only make mention of Sione, who was very good in that Queen of the South. This is the first time Sione's going to step north of 1,600 metres, so it's a pretty big ask.
And rising 3.5 kilos, stepping up that trip.
Giving See What I See 4 kilos. So
I just noticed there's already been market support for her since she opened. Is that
surprising?
You? Yeah.
It is surprising, but
considering like the stats are the stats. It's her first time, and she's had at the trip, and she's had such a good record at 14 and 1,600, and then she climbs up in the weights too.
Well, I think Silent Sorrente can turn the tables, and I think she's the lay in the race at the price with another sport. Interesting to see what Betfair does late.
Let's head to race 6, boys. It is the Group 3 Proud Miss Stakes for the Fillies and Mares, 1,200 metres. Snapped won this race last year, BSP'd $8.20, which was well above anything on offer at corporates. Ceridess won the year prior, and Brooklyn Hustle's a previous winner of the race as well, the Enigma. How are we playing this race, Tommy? Are you keen to get involved?
I am actually. I'm pretty bullish. One at a big price here. It's a tricky race, and we see a few horses from WA over in the next few races, and they're hard to line up, like Laced Up Hills here. Damien Lane on board, Laced Up Hills, got to be a chance. Grey River's in the market, extra 2, it's $5 or $6 a field. I've gone down the bottom at one at close to $70. You might get that on Betfair. Huge price here. Number 11, Tiffany Valentine. I don't know if you've seen
No,
her.
the horse. No, the horse.
Draws wide. I don't mind that for her. She'll get back. Interesting with blinkers on, and I want to ask you, Race. Blinkers, something I don't like is blinkers on first time from wide barriers. Do you have an opinion on that? Because it sharpens them up. She's a get back horse. If she had drawn 5, she could easily settle 2 or 3 pairs closer than going back to last.
It's an interesting one because, and I've been in this position before, is you would love to know where you drew before you had to put the gear change in. So Stokes had to put the blinkers on before he knew where he was going to draw. I mean,
Can you take them off now? Can you ask permission? No.
You can ask permission, but they're generally, for these reasons, form is, prices are out. People have already backed her with blinkers on, so they probably can't take that. I know that's the reason why they don't like to.
Because she could end up.
Well, it is and isn't. But
if
if you're wanting to be with her with blinkers on, no matter what, and then you get a late gear change that they're coming off, yes, it suits you. But what about the people that have backed her already? That do want the blinkers on, regardless. Not everyone's in your theory that it's a negative. Yeah. But
they're stupid.
We did know that. We did know that.
Well surmised.
But that'd be what Stokesy would probably be like. What do we do now?
Do you think that's a query?
Yeah, 100%. A query. Yeah, you could use it as a query, or it might work in a favour. We're yet to find out.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've lent the way. It is a query for me, but at $70, I'm willing to take that risk that she could even improve.
Do you think they're still going to have to go back now? Is there an opportunity with the blinkers on that they punch forward?
They have to go back.
Okay.
And she'll find the outside fence, and hopefully that's the right place at Morphettville. She's 71, Tiffany Valentine. She's had 9 starts. In 4 of those, she's run the fastest 600 metres of the race. She ran the second fastest final 400, third fastest final 200 of the day last start. She's got a powerful turn of foot. She's got the turn of foot that can overcome these and come. She finally gets into a high pressure race with a big field at a big price. I love the setup for her, and she's $70. So for a talented horse with a turn of foot, I think with the blinkers on, if she even improves a length or 2, I think she can win this at a huge price.
That's a bigger push, as I've heard, as for a $71
Correct.
shot here on layback. Reece?
Yeah, 2 fillies at a nice price that I like. One of them's a local, Tynong
You're
horse.
going to say Tiffany Valentine.
The other local. She's bulletproof. She has always shown really nice ability, this filly. Be interested to see how the track's playing at this time of the day, because she's drawn down in 2. But as we saw in the Sangster, Climbing Star was able, if they all come out, you can probably still sneak up the inside and be in somewhat a good part of the ground. So she's flying, absolutely flying. And the other one, Right to Party, right down the bottom. I think this has been a plan by the Freemans. They would really like to get some black type on her page. She has always shown really good ability. She ties in last prep with some smart fillies like Gumdrops, Roll on High, and Miraval Rose. So I think, again, she's drawn down low, so I really hope all the group comes away from the fence and they can be maybe saving some ground but getting to the right part of the track. But I think they're 2 fillies that will run really well at a nice price. But I do concede. The other question I had was, are we assuming extra 2 is not running because it doesn't have a rider down?
That's a good question.
Does she play any part in the race if she does run or doesn't run?
Yeah, I didn't go looking for her.
From where I'm looking, she's currently favourite.
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to know what to do. I think she will run. I reckon with 19 runners, they're probably waiting to see if there's any scratchings and look at what jockeys are available.
Yep, fair enough.
Pay the fine and move on.
Yep, good point. I'm keen to play 2 as 2 runners here as well. One of them, I'm with you, Reece, Right to Party.
Beautiful.
Down the bottom. I think the by that part of the day, they'll be fanning wide, and even though drawn 4 will certainly get her chance to get a run. And I'm with you. I think we've been on the same wavelength with her in the last series as well, but always had a little bit of time for her since that run at the Valley.
Thought she would have won a better race by now.
Yeah, most definitely. And I'm not sure if you caught her 800-metre jump out at Cranbourne, but it was Ford.
There you go.
It was really Ford to suggest that she's tuned up for a good run first up.
These boys know what they're doing with these fillies to get the right sort of blacks type on their page.
Absolutely. And the other runner I want to be with is Grey River at around that 650 quote. She was runner-up in this race last year, and she was excellent first up. She came through that Hawke Stakes that was won by Extremely Lucky. She got Extremely Lucky, got her back, but she was able to stick on really well first up, and I thought she was still holding and quite strong through the line, and that's just going to top her up perfectly for this second up assignment. She'll be able to settle close to the speed again from an economical draw. So Grey River, Right to Party for me.
Grey River's the box ticker.
Yeah.
Like, you got
everything.
She flies. She always flies under the radar.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's got nothing against John O'Connor at all. He's a brilliant trainer, but I'm sure it's got to do with the trainer. if she was in a bigger camp, she'd be respected a lot more. But she's always shown really good ability. Even when she comes to Melbourne, she always runs very well.
Yep. It's a good race. I'm looking forward to
Can
it.
you text Stacey about Tiffany for me?
Can we wait till after the show?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, cool.
That'll do.
Let's get to race 7 now, which is the Cummings Stakes, set weights and penalties. It was formerly the RA Lee Stakes. It's run over 1,600 metres. Last year's edition was won by Foxy Frida from Sosibon and Party Princess. I'm shouldering arms this race. Found it incredibly hard, but our man Tom Haylock here, who's just punching out $71 shots like they're $3 shots in the market. There was a bit of peacocking about the $71 pop.
Part I like is he's found his excuse. It'll be the blinkers.
Yeah, correct. Overraced.
From the wide draw.
It'll step slow anyway.
He's got the stats on it.
Offset it stepping slow. You'll be right.
Yeah.
What do you like?
Don't need an excuse for tipping at the 70s. Probably just not good enough. But race 7, yeah. Cyril Miss crosses Jimmy the Bear here. Easy Campese up there. Chicago Storm's also that. If you backed Chicago Storm at Oakbank, you'd be filthy.
That's the next 2 wins it's had.
Well, they didn't try. They snagged back to last, and then suddenly they just.
They didn't try.
It didn't look like
You're
it.
certain of that?
Well, go and watch the race. They went back.
It's a big allegation. You're basically saying the stewards should be looking into this.
Well, I think they should have asked the question.
Okay.
There you go. You come out and then you lead and you win your last 2 for a leader. They go back at Oakbank and anyway, it's just then it comes out and leads the last 2 and wins the last 2.
Tom, you with Cyril Miss.
Don't get me fired up.
Yeah.
I didn't even partake in betting in that race. I don't care. So we're with
like it.
Cyril Miss. Really trappy race because you've got Be Optimistic down here from WA with Lane on board. Terry Latton owns Be Optimistic, so good luck to him. Good Betfair man. I'm with Cyril Miss. Not a huge amount of confidence because how can you be confident off that first up win? It was wide, but she was pretty plain. But she's 4 from 6 second up. Yet to miss a top 2 finish, second up in her career. If she produces that Group 2 Matron Stakes second up last campaign in the spring, she would annihilate these. And then she went on to win the Sunline Stakes by 5.5.
I'm not sure if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I made a really big case for her in the Queen of the South Stakes. And then right at the end of it, you go, she's scratched. And she was scratched during our show. I'm concerned about that. So I wanted to find her because she's got an outstanding second up profile. Big spike second up in terms of her ratings. She's out for a long period of time, comes back fairly plain. I'd still expect her to bounce off that. Why the scratching from the Queen of the South? Why here? There are a few question marks over her. At her best, she puts these away, but I'll be wanting to see more than sort of $8.
I agree with you. My note here says big market watch. So what Betfair does with her the last 5-10 minutes is going to be fascinating. But if there's any support, I think she can I think she can win this easily.
She's class.
She's the class horse in the race, in my opinion. We've seen it in that Moonee Valley win by 5.5 lengths, the Group 2, and the Matron Stakes win as well at Flemington was huge. So she gets to get close to that, she wins. So she's the big watch. It's such a trappy race because of her, because of the WA horse down the bottom.
This race also has Pounding in it, which I'm sure is one of Reece's favourites, and he'll probably make a case for.
Hasn't won in a long time.
I can't have it.
Can't you? Ooh.
It's cast, isn't it? It was brilliant.
Oh, you'd want to see it win.
He was brilliant first up in the race at Yarra Valley.
Yep. It is Moody Coleman who third up is probably more the ego.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think anyone's going to be piling in, to be fair, off his effort in the gold race a couple of weeks ago at Cork. But I think everyone piled in there and they were burnt and a little bit worried.
That's why it's such a trappy race.
Yeah. I'm just value all day. Like, I'm on this show just to find people value. Number 17, On Francis.
On
Francais.
Don't send Reece to Paris.
Yeah. I don't like snails. That's okay.
Paris.
She. Let me get this right. She was enormous behind Sione first up, and she also has brilliant second up record. She's win 3 placings from 4 goes, so she's yet to miss the frame. 53 kilos, in form, Group 1 hoop, Lockie Neundorf on. She'll be back from 13, but this time of the day we're hoping we're getting out wide into the best part of the track. And if you're going off her first up run, she's got to be included in the chances. Some of her form last prep would be a little bit questionable. She's very in and out, but I do know someone who is in the ownership, and they've always had a very big opinion that the horse could win something like this. And yeah, I'm just backing in what I saw first up. And if she can replicate that, she's going to be a good chance. She's certainly going to be running on. So each way, all day there.
Each way all day for Reece and En Francais in the 7th. Hey, let's turn our attention to the Group 1 now, the Goodwood. Set weights penalties, 1,200 metres. Last year's edition was won by Royal Merchant. BSP'd $19.68, if you don't mind. And it's a great race. The Honour Roll.
Another race?
Yeah.
That horse?
Honour Roll also includes Takeover
No.
Target 2009, Black Caviar 2012. It's a cracking edition. Speed-wise, it doesn't look like there's a stack of tempo on paper, Tom. You got the likes of Oscar's Fortune, I Am Me, that'll likely lead them up, and then how they sort themselves out for the rest of the way is the question.
Yeah, you're spot on. And we mentioned Blinker's first time, but Amelia's Jewel gets them on, which is fascinating. We'll dissect that in a little bit. I've got I Am Me kicking up. Oscar's Fortune, speaking of Terriers, WA man, he's a bit worried about Willie Pike on front runners at the moment. He just thinks he's going too slow on front runners. So that's a question mark for Oscar's Fortune. Probably settles outside lead. Valana's another one with speed who draws wide. So do they try and cross? Is it, I'll ask you, Footy, is it a battle between the Sangster and the Quokka form, or is there some others? Because the Sangster, obviously, you've got quite a few of these.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Why don't we have both?
You're going to take the best of both, eh?
Well,
Get that gift up now.
Not necessarily the best of both, but it is a really good question, and they're very hard to line up. I'm really interested in Amelia's Jewel staying at 1,200 metres. I truly think she's a miler. However, this is her last run for Simon Miller. He's pulled out the grand final, the ace up his sleeve, the blinkers first time, which we know he's been holding on to for quite some time.
Has he talked about it?
I think he has been holding on to it. Yeah, that's my view looking at it. And look, her run in the Quokka was outstanding because Frosty was able to get her across from that wide draw and get her in the 1-1 effectively.
Yeah,
but through a fastly run 1,200, it takes away from her 1 wood, which is her finish, by being there. But it's all you could do from the draw. So this map's a lot kinder for her.
Yes, it is.
This is a much better draw this time in. So I'm not sitting here saying she can't win at 1,200 metres because I think she's better than the likes of Oscar's Fortune. I'm actually tipping Oscar's Fortune out of the Quokka purely because I think it's better suited at 1,200 metres and gets 3 kilos off Amelia's Jewel from the Quokka. So I'll have Oscar's Fortune ahead. I'll be saving up for Amelia's Jewel a little bit later in a campaign.
Yep. I think Simon Miller's almost the opposite. I think it's his last run. I think this is a roll of the dice. He's admitted as well that she's a 1,600 metre horse, and I think he just wants to win a Group 1 with her now. Again, last run and thrown the blinkers on as a slight bit of desperation to get her to run the 1,200 metres. My query is whether that takes away from a powerful finish. So she might just race a bit keener and she might not sprint as well from that. So it's could work both ways. She could come out and be simply too good for them. I'm with you, Footy. I've got Oscar's Fortune on top. Settles outside lead or close enough to the speed. I have that little query with Pikey. But
he was the easiest one to map, wasn't he? Him and I and me. Like they're the easiest ones to genuinely work out where they're going to be placed.
Yeah, and you saw that with the Quokka as well. Had the right run and the right map in the Quokka. But he's a very good horse, Oscar's Fortune. He maps perfectly, as you said. I think it's the right form line. Overpass to be even money in this race. And we've seen Amelia's Jewel and Oscar's Fortune run that form quite close. So meets Amelia's Jewel 3 kilos better at the weights. That's got to be something. I'm saving Amelia's Jewel because she's the best horse in the race. I don't want to lose if she wins, if the blinkers spark her up. So Oscar's Fortune on top. Happy to be with him. Save Amelia's Jewel.
Just before you hop in, Reece, I am backing Oscar's Fortune. I'm also going to have something small, and you questioned me around the form of the Sangster. I am also just going to have something small on Stretton Angel at a big price out of the Sangster. I just thought the run had a stack of merit. So press forward from the wide draw, sit 3 wide on a fast tempo. The last preparation, her big wins came when she had the ability to be saved up and finish off. And she's drawn much kinder in 7. She'll get it back to follow. The blinkers are applied for the first time with her as well. The lightweight of 52.5 kilos. I think Philip Stokes, we saw what he did with Climbing Star and a Climbing Star beater in the Sangster. But I think that she's just bubbling away really well and she's got a big run in her.
He'll be pretty pumped after winning race 6 on with Tiffany. So can he make it a double?
We're tipping a big day for the Stokes.
I hope you're having the multi.
I'll have to.
Look, I'm not having a bet in the race, and I still think Amelia Jewel is a star and will be a star once she gets to a mile. The thing I question about the blinkers is what was more important, the Group 1 status on her CV or a $5 million quokka? Was the prize money going to be better? So is he putting the blinkers on saying this is his last throw at the stumps, or would he have been better doing that and winning a $5 million group, $5 million race in his own backyard?
That's why I kind of
is this race worth $1 million?
Yeah.
Yes, no, that's I'm sort of thinking that too,
1
Tom.
mil.
Yeah.
But in saying that,
I don't think it's the ace.
In saying that, there's the flip side because the Group 1 on her pedigree means a lot more than winning a quokka.
Yep.
So it's either the prize money was in the bank for $5 million and you're wrapped with that, or the blinkers are going on for the Group 1 to be on her CV, which for many reasons makes her very valuable.
Why not both?
Yeah, why not both?
I think as well.
She's won a Group 1. She won an.
I know, but the more Group 1s, Imperatrice is worth a lot because she's won 10, not one, Tom.
Yeah.
So 10 Group 1s does make a difference. The more Group 1s you can win, the better.
I'm conscious of time, but I do want to also speak about some of the other key fancies in this race.
Go for it, because I'm done with that.
Benedetta, she looks placed beautifully here. A couple of notable gear changes. Another blinkers first time. Also Jamie Carr first time, which is a terrific booking. We'll need to hunt runs from 3, but the way we're predicting the track to play, she can certainly feature. And the winner at the weights is Johnny Rocker. You only got to look at the William Reid. And is the William Reid run behind Imperatrice, is that a bit of an anomaly? Because that was a high rating race for Johnny Rocker. He's been racing in genuine Group 1 weight for age company, drops 4 kilos off that back to the Goodwood, which is obviously set weights and penalties. So these are other runners that you have to throw in the mix and show some respect to.
That's an amazing. I think it is an anomaly. Obviously came off beating Midtown Boss, but I think Johnny Rocker, who knows, stable are hard to catch too. Reece McLeod in a Group 1.
The little thing on that is 54.5.
Yep.
That's massive for
Yeah,
him.
correct.
I reckon if you went back and looked at the last time he rode this, it'd be years ago.
Yeah, so
he's very much a high. Well, that's a pretty good push. But he did know weeks ago he was riding it.
Yeah, but also, is it hard if you're riding at such a light weight you haven't been? Is that actually draining and physically
Not
draining?
if you do it properly, and he's known for weeks. If he got told on Monday and he had to rip off a heap of weight, possibly.
So he'd still be feeling strong.
Yep. I'd back that in 100%.
What is it? Marlboros and salad. What's the diet?
Saunas.
Consist of saunas, Marlboros,
Fresh
and salad.
Yeah.
Nice.
The other one that we didn't touch on, I know we got to be quick. Skybird, fascinating runner. I went looking for her because she just adds so much intrigue and interest, but the times and the data didn't really say that she warrants to be a winning chance in this. But gee, I love her as a horse.
4 from 6 with a placing. It's hard to knock her, isn't it?
Yeah, I just wanted to see a better time because I did go looking for her because she just brings different form. And I mentioned her on the show when she won at Morphettville on the 27th of April. So,
You could line up her last win. It was on the same day as the Sangster as well. And the times from the Sangster to her win were clearly inferior.
Correct.
So, she's good. And I knocked her at 1,200. I was waiting for her to get out. So, fascinating race, but a couple of 2-bet Tommies flying around. Reece is shouldering arms. And, I'm really excited for the Group 1 Goodwood. Before we head to the Sunshine Coast, it's time for our What Caught My Eye segments. And Tom, you've been pretty forthright on the group chat this week that you want to take the reins.
What is going on here? Tony Otterborough with this tweet. Pride of Jenny collected $8.1 million in her 9 starts over this racing season and never started favourite in any of those races. A special thank you goes out to the so-called experts. With your help, I was able to buy some extra hay for the farm this year. Now, what's doing?
It's just funny.
It's a lot of hay.
I just think it's funny.
For a horse that has now got a cult following, it's pretty quick to turn people off. What is the requirement? What is the need to send a tweet like that?
Yeah, take the W.
There is two things here that I will say is, one, this bloke has literally must have just found out what Twitter is since she's become the horse she is, because I've never seen the bloke on there before.
I agree. Yep.
And 2 is, I love the comment on the tweet of some bloke that said, experts don't do the markets.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite good.
It's really Alan Andre's areas. Why? I don't
Yeah.
get it.
Where's he
why are you
come from?
potting? Who are you? The only time I laid her was when she lost, so suck a lemon, Tony. You made her your best when she won.
Yeah, and
I just don't get it. Come on, mate.
you don't really need to protect her either because she doesn't scroll through Twitter, right, Jenny? So you don't
Her
actually.
feelings aren't getting
You
hurt.
don't need to. It's not
Who
personal.
cares
I
if people don't tip her?
You
I
don't
would
need to
not
go
be
in a bat
shocked.
for her.
I wouldn't be shocked if this bloke's sitting down with her and reading them out to her.
Yeah, no, it's
I just don't get why you tweet that.
no. He's a colourful identity, but
Good luck to him. He's got a great
Also-
horse, but take the winners. he
also
said.
playing devil's advocate. Colourful identity, but I love them in this game because
it's great.
it's just
We're
terrific.
talking about it, aren't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly
we're
right.
talking about
And
it.
he's putting a lot into the industry, and to be honest, he can do what he wants, Tony.
Suck a lemon.
I'm not fussed either way. It's still, as I said a few weeks ago, one of the greatest wins I've seen that product,
Phenomenal.
Jenny, in the Queen
But
Elizabeth.
well done. Take it and
Yep.
don't need a bag to so-called expert.
Very good. Get off Twitter, Get off Twitter, Jenny. It's not for you. Hey, let's take a look at the Sunshine Coast meeting, and it's a little bit different to Morphettville weather-wise. It looks like it's going to be wet, and almost sort of bottomless
I'm
up
reading
there.
heavy 10 already.
It is heavy 10
Is there
now.
any question of it going forward?
No, I'll run.
Because it's a Group 1 meeting.
Tracks
Is it a
up-
Group 1 meeting? No,
tracks up-
sorry.
Tracks up there are absolutely calf at Queensland at the moment.
You were into the tracks, aren't you?
Well, you've
matter
got
what,
Gold
doesn't
Coast-
matter what stage.
Gold Coast they can't run on. This is a Gold Coast meeting. It's
Okay,
now
right.
Sunshine Coast, so they're not even running on the Gold Coast. It's a heavy 10 there. We've got Eagle Farm that's had a virus or something go through the ground, and they're back to the old Eagle Farm where they're 50 lengths first and last every race. It's sorted out. Good race though.
We're going to cover 4 races, Tom, and I know you're keen to play into the majority of them and have bets. So when you do get to a Thursday, you know it's heavy 10, you know it's bottomless. What are you doing from an analyst perspective in the lead up to that? Are you changing stakes? Are you throwing just dry trackers out? How do you approach it?
Yeah, it's fascinating. I spoke to a couple of people up there to analyse how they think the track will play as well, because it's not my jurisdiction, but fence and inside might be off. You look for, the word is that it'll be a testing track, even if it does improve. There's showers forecast, but
Chops out.
between 1 to 10 mil, you might get 1, you might get 10. If it upgrades to a soft 7, soft 8, heavy 8, it'll still be testing, and that's the word. So it is pretty wet.
Just quickly on the one thing I know with the sunny coast is there is a crown in the middle of the track. That's why the inside
Drops
becomes
out,
off. Yeah. So once you get out past the middle, it's all basically even after that.
Yeah, so I've marked inside barriers down, but yeah, you want fit horses coming into this.
Well, let's kick off in race 6. It's the Group 3 Gold Coast Guineas for the 3-year-olds. Yellow Brick won the race last year, Prince of Boom in 2022, and Marbusha in 2021. How are you playing it?
You want fit horses, and I'm backing a horse confidently that's first up. So we're going well. I just think she's.
And it's 70 to 1.
I was looking at Steffi Magnetica on the run sheet there going, I'm going to be interested to see how Tom spins this, but over to you.
I just think she's better than her, to be honest. I think she's a
least
very
it's drawn
good
off the
horse.
track.
I think, I think she's a very good horse, and she does draw 9, which I think is perfect for that track. Now, she's always been a horse that I think will be getting better as she gets older, and she's shown that. Her last start was a fantastic second in the Group 1 Surround Stakes. She beat All Bar Tropical Squall, who went on to run again in a Coolmore and got beaten a half length in a Coolmore on the back of that. Frank the Form, I know that race was suited up and in. We saw Roll on High, who I liked in that race, was back and wide and couldn't get into the race. I want to make a case for Roll on High as well. But I love the trial recently. So Steffi Magnetica, Corniche, Shea and Moravia all trialled in the same trial leading in. So she is first up, but I think with that mid-prep trial, hasn't been or not a mid-prep trial, but the trial in between runs, it hasn't been a big break. I think there is a lot of residual fitness, and I thought she was much stronger than the favourite Corniche through the line in that barrier trial. I know Corniche was ridden cold. Moravia was good in that trial, but Steffi Magnetica went straight past her, past the post as well, so past him straight after the post. I think she's the best horse in the race, so I think she wins. It's a good race, good competitive race, but I'm pretty bullish, Steffi Magnetica, and I will save on Roll on High, who comes through that same race, as I said, shorter SP in that lead up the Surround Stakes, not suited there, and she hasn't had much luck since. So she does tie into Jolie Star, who won the Arrowfield, who beat Corniche. So obviously Rolling High made Jolly Star almost look second rate, and then Jolly Star came out and beat the favourite Corniche, so there is that line. Steffi Magnetica on top, save or slight profit, Rolling High as well.
Not much from me. I'm certainly not having a bet. Sorry, I'm really questioning how Rolling High is going.
Same.
And I know she's a slight filly, and they've been a bit cautious about travelling her. And now, I didn't think they would after the Bendigo run, and they still have.
Yep.
Look, I back in the camp, but I've really got to question how she's going, and I'd be happy to take her on.
Can you text moods for me?
Can we wait till after the show?
There was too much uncertainty in this field and too many untried horses on genuine wet ground for me to get involved.
Yeah, it's tough.
I had Corniche on top and thought hardest to beat, and this is how long the bowl I'm sort of going with here is back to the Group 2 Skyline when Corniche beat Shinzo. That was on a rain-affected ground, that was prior to Shinzo going on to do what we know Shinzo went on to do. So, a bit too large of a boat to draw there for me. So I'm steering clear of this particular race, and I'll save up for a little bit later in the card. Let's go to race 7, which is the Group 2 Hollindale Stakes, weight for age 1,800 metres. And this is the race where Zaki genuinely stamped himself a few years ago, then went on to win 3 on the trot. It was the kicker off, wasn't it, for Zaki, this particular race? And there's a few old Zaki foes still going around in this edition, Tommy. If Zaki was here, you'd probably be mistaken that it was the 2023 or 2 edition.
Was this Zaki second up after the Doncaster?
Don't know.
It might have been the start after Doncaster and won this.
He didn't win that. Is this the one where he did walk in one year, didn't he?
Yeah, he won up here a couple of times.
Has he won this race twice?
3 times.
Not 3, okay. But one of the last one
was the 2021 was the stamping himself.
Yeah, when he won by about 8.
Yeah.
But then the latest one, he sort of only fell in, and that was when the question marks are out on how he was actually really going. I think Huaytol might have nearly knocked him off.
Yep. I'm just having a look here because I shouldn't talk about that. I'm just still sick that I backed Zaki at 150s in a Doncaster, and he was 8 wide and ran the fastest 400.
I did that too. Regan Bayless
and
was
then
on
he
him.
probably came out on the Hollindale next up.
I don't think I backed him ever again after that.
Yeah.
I was still dirty. That
I know.
he didn't.
I'm still
How did it not at least run a place?
Unbelievable.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Laney took us too. Don't worry about us.
that's all right. We could chat all day about sick beats.
His elevated temperature did me on the all-in Cox Plate market. So
Yeah.
I can't
Yes.
wait to hear about how.
We've all got a Zaki story, but continue with the Hollindale, Tom.
You said that Deny Knowledge didn't run out 2,400 metres last start.
Have you seen the money?
Have you
for this
seen
man?
the data? I'd say he did run it out. He just went too hard.
Yes, but it's not the first time she's done that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, possibly.
She's-
I thought the run was good.
Yeah, and absolutely. Like a lot of horses probably should have ran past her.
Don't say
considering how hard she
absolutely,
went.
because I specced her and you said there's no way she'll run out
Correct.
the 2,400. And
No,
then when
I
she,
didn't-
and then when she
Couldn't run
and
it
then
down a well, he
couldn't run
said.
it down,
But
and
the
then
problem
he
is,
followed up with a "I told you so"
Yes.
text. So
No,
don't sit here and say it had
but
merit.
I still stick to that. I still stick to that because I could run a 58 horse in this race and it'll run 2,400. Doesn't mean it'll run it quick.
Yeah, that's right. So your
She did
terminology's
run
right.
it, but I didn't think she was
You would know
I just thought
about a
she was-
58 horse,
she was-
so
yeah,
I will
correct.
not argue that.
even a 52er.
She ran 12.6 lengths faster than class to the 600 there. She went way too quick in that Mornington Cup. I thought she held on well. She looks the leader here. In saying that, I think Huerta's deserved favourite. Has to be a major player. Just ticks so many boxes. Fit. Winner over 2,000 metres on a heavy last start. Back to 1,800 metres. Run well at this track before. Tick, tick, tick. Don't mind the wide barrier. On top for me, Ladonda V, first up, 1,800
Glad you
metres,
mentioned him.
is a query.
Big watch.
But I have to spec him. He's $20. I think
Yep.
he's a huge price. He's the best value in the race by a mile.
He's in the right stable to be fit and
Correct.
ready
Exactly.
for
Loves
start.
it. Loves it wet. Sprints well fresh. Second in a Metrop on a heavy track. Tick, tick, tick. Huge price. Backing Huerta and Ladonda.
He has won first up over a mile and he beat Tuvalu.
Correct. Yeah,
Which
he won first up last
Decent form.
campaign.
There you go, yeah. And he was 80 to 1, I think.
Well, back him. 20.
Yep, I'm watching Jimi Hendrix as well. Just Folk will be. I wanted to find Just Folk. It's just the 7-day backup with Just Folk after the win last week. I love it. It's going to be the rain affected going, but it's a big ask for a horse that's basically gone 3 states in as many weeks.
Saw a photo of him this morning that Benji posted.
Mm.
He has not lost any weight. He looks in very good order. I'd be safe to say physically he's travelled up very, very well.
I just query who's good enough.
Fair enough.
Got that?
No bet for me. Race 8, listed Gold Coast Bracelet. It's for the 3-year-old fillies, 1,800 metres. And Geez, Tommy, I think we're pretty keen on one here, you and I.
Yeah, do you want to take it away, mate?
Yeah, I like.
on.
Yeah, I like Redbreast here. I think she's come up a really nice price, and love that she's the fit horse. I want to be with high rating performance at benchmark level. That was on soft going. They went fast. She went 10.5 lengths inside benchmark to the 600, was holding them through the line. She goes straight to the top, finds the best going, and proves very, very hard to run down. And in saying that, I'm going a little hamburger with a lot here because I'm going to lay the Kiwi Molly Bloom in this race. First up in Australia, first run since the 10th of Feb. Bigger targets in mind for her, so she's well and truly in the market for the Queensland Oaks and the Derby as well. I think the bottomless deck's going to be a negative. This will be a good fitness run for her. She's got the class. Look, she SP'd $2.70 against Orchestral a couple back in a Group 1.
Scary.
Yeah, that reads class, but I think the bigger targets in mind, she won't be fully tuned up yet, so I'm going to be laying her and siding with the one on the up.
Yep, I can't add anything more to your summary with Redbreast. Just barrier 3 is a slight concern later in the day, but I think...
Well, she finds the top.
I think Tim Clark on board, perfect, finds the top, can roll out the middle of the track in the straight and be too good for them.
Nothing from me, boys.
Beautiful stuff. Let's get to I think we're up to our Lay Street, boys, which is, this is a bit of PTSD for me. I've been finding it hard to get back to the
we
Lay
haven't
Street.
seen you since...
Well, I've gone into hiding after Sione knocked me out of the Queen of the South. So it's just where we're at. But it is Lay Street time. I have $100 liability, as Tom so kindly outlined in the spreadsheet. Just really...
That wasn't me. That was
okay.
Harry or Carl. Happy birthday to Carl, by the way.
How was your lay? Who did you lay last week?
I didn't have a lay last week, but I laid Molly Nickers the week before to place, and she's still running.
Beautiful. Where are we kicking off this week, Tom?
I don't know. Have you got a lay?
Yeah, it's not that bold. It's about $8, but roll on high. I'm really happy to lay roll on high
Lay at a place.
up in Queensland. Yeah, there you go. I'll lay at the place. I'll lay roll on high at the place.
Fair enough. Well, I've just made a case for mine, and that's Molly Bloom in the Gold Coast Bracelet. I'll be laying her to win. I think she's come up 360 on corporates. She opened 420, bit of early support, but I reckon she'll get back out.
I found it very hard. I could lay Corniche Sunshine Coast, race 6, number 3 there. Good horse, but I am pretty bullish on a couple of others in the race to bet it.
Just in terms of our best bets for the weekend, going around, who do we want to be with from a best bet perspective? I might kick it off while you scroll through your computer there and find your best bet.
I was born ready.
Oh, born ready. I've just got a couple at Caulfield that I wanted to mention. Caulfield Race 1, number 7, Stanley Express. I was very impressed with that. First up or debut win in a $1 million race. It's a nice way to get your purchase money back. It's just roll around in a $1 million Vobis showdown or whatever it was called, but looks a really nice runner on the up for Clinton McDonald, and I think they might have some Queensland targets in mind. They've opted to stay at home instead of going for some black type now at Morphettville. So Caulfield Race 1, number 7, Stanley Express, and then just a 1x3 play. Caulfield Race 4, number 4, SK. I've always had a little bit of time for SK.
I think you tipped it one day.
Yeah, and it's still running. It's just got back into the stable. And look, it raced against the better 3-year-olds in the spring, never threatened to reach probably the level that he promised as a juvenile. But look, finished in the minor placings, all 3 runs this prep, has been stepping through his distances much better this time in. I think 1,600 metres, yes, 4th up, drops 5.5 kilos off last start and maps to get a beautiful run. So SK at a nice, I think, sort of $15, 1x3 play for me there, boys.
Nice. I'll go. Pretty keen Silent Sorrento place more than win. Obviously, we've got to see what I see in the market. But I think Silent Sorrento will run top 3. There in race 5, as I mentioned, race 6, number 11, Tiffany Valentine at a huge price. And I'm pretty keen Steffi Magnetica and Redbreast in Sunshine Coast. That's race 6, number 12, and race 8, number 19.
Beautiful.
My best is the first race we kicked off with, Kohai, in race 4 at Morphettville. B Shinon, I think she's a progressive filly that will stay the trip, no dramas. Since the show, she's already been 34 into 21, so obviously everyone's been listening. So
yeah,
I think
not
she's
live, by the way.
Oh, right.
What are we dealing with?
We're each way special her. I'd be shocked if she doesn't run the top 3.
Love your work, boys. It's been a lot of fun to be back in the studio today. Reece, you've been brilliant as per usual. You've promised us some big winners.
You send him a link to the spreadsheet?
Yeah, I will. Big runners for the stable over the weekend.
Yeah, it's good to see you done it fine. We should have covered that last race at Caulfield, race 10.
What have
Benchmark
you got?
84. Capo Strata.
Oh, yes.
First
Good.
run.
How was his last jump out?
Good. Yeah, back on track.
Better?
Yep.
Is that 3 now?
Yep.
Yep.
We were questioning the second one, but we had a
His
couple of.
first was awesome.
Yep. And his second one was very disappointing. In saying that, it was good format of it. Learning to fly was in the jump out. There was a couple of handy horses in that, but we've tinkered with a few things. Feel like we've got him back on track. We've just got to hope the fence holds up. Last
Won
race
the
today at
Stakes, didn't it?
Caulfield, he's drawn 4, but I think he can run really well.
City
Good luck,
meeting.
mate.
Yeah, good luck. City meeting. Akubra, no Akubra.
Good question. Good
Mm.
question. I'm
Great
getting a haircut
Might
Friday
get a-
night,
might
so
get
You're going to run the Nick Foot.
Might
new
get a
haircut?
Betfair novelties market opened on Reece Goodwin to wear an Akubra.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
no,
that's
for
good.
Caulfield.
That is good. I
Good
like
shout.
that.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
only a rod if you're not in on it, so I'll let you know, boys.
We'll workshop that.
Yeah. Noah Kruger, $1.01. I wonder if those come.
Yeah, that's how the
Oh,
exchange
dear.
works. Anyway, all the best, listeners and viewers, and across this Group 1 weekend. We'll be back next week on Layback with Betfair.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.